Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we're going to be discussing the 1991 film Thelma and Louise, starring Susan Sarandon, Gina Davis, Harvey Keitel, Michael Madsen, Norm Macdonald, and a very young Brad Pitt. And it is also the movie that made Brad Pitt to a bona fide movie star, as well as Gina Davis. Even though Gina Davis was already in three very popular films already by this time, this is the film that made Gina Davis into an international movie star. Well, Susan Sarandon was already a star for about 3 years since her breakout role in Bull Durham. But this movie, Thelma and Louise, really was towards the end of the chick flick genre, and it was also the end of almost the woman empowerment. It kind of in a way, it started one genre and it ended another. It started the woman empowerment genre, at the same time it ended the chick flick genre. What I mean by that is, throughout the 1980s, we had a slew of chick flicks, starting with Terms of Endearment right back in 1983, 8 years before this film. And also you had movies like Yentl, you can say Yentl a chick flick, but you also had movies like Still Magnolias. You had the movie Satisfaction starring Justin Bateman. You had Beaches. You had, I think I also already mentioned Still Magnolias. You had Beaches. You had Stella in 1990. And of course you had this film, Thelma and Louise, in 1991, and pretty much ended it, which we're going to get into now. The premise of Thelma and Louise is you have these two women who, lifelong friends, Thelma was played by Gina Davis, and Louise was played by Susan Sarandon. And originally the roles were actually reversed. Gina Davis wanted the Louise role, but then when Susan Sarandon got cast in the film, they gave Susan Sarandon the Louise role, and they gave Gina Davis the Thelma role. But originally the roles were originally reversed when the two women were cast in the film. But regardless, both of them were great in the two roles. I mean, they really were. Even though I'm not that big of a Susan Sarandon fan anymore, because of her ultra-liberal politics, which, if she just kept the politics out of her life, making public statements about George W. Bush and everything, and would have, continued to like her career. But since politics became part of her and most of Hollywood's careers, kind of ruined Hollywood for me, lecturing me how to think or what to think or who to vote for and stuff. I don't need their opinions on, who I vote for and stuff. So they kind of ruined, killed my respect for it. But anyway, what happened in this movie is that Susan Sarandon plays a single woman who works as a waitress, and she decides to go on a fishing trip with her friend Thelma, who is married, who has a husband played by Norm Macdonald, who treats her like crap. And so they decided to go on a fishing trip just for the weekend. And Thelma, who is, her life is pretty much restricted by her husband, won't let her do anything and go out of the house and stuff. And so she decides not to tell him that she was going out on this fishing trip. So Louise says, you never told your husband you're going with me for the weekend? And he says, no. So the hell with him. Treated me like crap, so the hell with him. So on the first night out, they stop in this roadside bar, in this country bar. And of course, one of the most iconic scenes in the movie is when Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis are doing this line dance with a bunch of guys, bunch of these bar patrons, and one of them decides to get the hots for Gina Davis. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, she was smoking hot then as she is now. And so he decides to take this guy that Gina Davis meets in the bar and says to take her out in the parking lot and proceeds to, attack her in the parking lot and almost rapes her in the parking lot. And while he's attempting to rape her, Susan Sarandon comes along and thankfully stops her and points a gun to his head. He says, "Hey, if you don't back off, if you move any more towards her, you're dead." So he backed off a little bit. And he said, "I should have, did my way, had my way with her before you came along. I should have just, had sex with her." Well, he didn't say have sex. He said, he actually said the F words. So I'm not going to repeat exactly what he said. So he decides to, once they have, I should have screwed her. This is more polite. He said, "I should have screwed her anyway." And so as soon as Sarandon shoots him, or Louise shoots him and kills him. Now, in that moment on, for the rest of the film, these two women are fugitives from the law. The two of them, and of course, they decided to go down to Mexico, and they're in Oklahoma, and Thelma says, "Well, how can we go through Oklahoma without avoiding Texas?" Because Susan Sarandon wants to avoid Texas in the worst way possible, and the reason why, because she was raped in Texas, and I think she killed somebody in Texas, or at least assaulted her rapist, and that's why she didn't want to go to Texas, because if you go through Texas, she might get arrested for taking her own rapist, and that's why she acted the way she did when Thelma was attacked in the parking lot of this bar. So, which is an interesting little side bit on Louise's backstory. But regardless, they were still running from the law, and Thelma robs a convenience store because they were out of money, and the reason why they were out of money is because Brad Pitt robs them. Well, Susan Sarandon's boyfriend, who was played by Michael Madsen, wires her money, and she has almost $7,000, and Brad Pitt robbed them on the $7,000. So of course, the cops do eventually arrest Brad Pitt for stealing their money. And Harry Kane tells us that, see, if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't be on the lam right now. If it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have robbed the convenience store and all these other crimes if you didn't rob them. And so Brad Pitt says, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what you do to them. And let's care for myself and all that type of thing. But regardless, like I said, the two women were on the run, and the cops are trying to stop them as much as possible. Now the FBI is involved, and they eventually get to the Grand Canyon. And I'm not kidding, they actually get to the Grand Canyon, and here they are, and they're up to the precipice, and always in front of them is this gorge in the Grand Canyon. There's no way they're going to survive it. Either that or get shot by the cops. I mean, it's a great choice, right? So someone says, let's keep going. And Louise says, so, what do you mean keep going? Let's keep going. I said, we don't want the cops to get us, so let's keep going. And someone says, are you crazy? You're not gonna survive that. I said, yeah, well, you want to spend the rest of your life in jail? There's a choice. Either we die or we go to jail for the rest of our lives. If I were you, I'd rather die than go to jail. So, all right, so the car just leaps off the cliff, and that's literally how the movie ends. And with the car in midair, with the two women holding hands, little power stuff, and pretty much that's how the movie ends. And of course, that's one of the cheesiest, because we all know they die at the end of this movie. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this thing. The two women, both of them, die at the end of this movie. Of course, they always make jokes. I think they did a bit in The Simpsons. They actually spoofed this in The Simpsons, where Marge and the new neighbor, live. But in the film, both of them die. And of course, people like to believe that Thelma and Louise actually lived. I mean, come on, how can you survive that? I mean, come on. Where do you think they are? Harry Houdini, David Copperfield, they could escape that? But the reason why, of course, I know I'm doing a little bit long thing here describing this movie, because everybody knows what the end of this movie is. We all know what happened in this film. I mean, for me, the best scene in this whole movie, for me, is this one scene where you see Gina Davis lying by the pool in a bikini. Alright, that is the best scene in this whole movie. Even though there are other iconic scenes where Thelma and Louise shoot a gas tank in this truck, and this truck blows up. That was an iconic scene. Of course, the end scene, of course, is also iconic when they leap off the gorge. But to me, the best scene of the whole movie is to see Gina Davis in a bikini. That's the best scene. Because we all know what a smoking hot woman Gina Davis is. Or she was at the time, and she still is now. And we see her in the bikini, and like, damn, what a body that she had. Everybody goes gaga over Susan Sarandon when she was in Bull Durham. But Gina Davis is hotter than Susan, and she will always be hotter than Susan Sarandon. I don't care. I don't care, because don't forget when Susan Sarandon did Bull Durham, she was only in her 40s when she starred in Bull Durham, folks. And that's a fact. She was about 41, 42 years old when she starred in Bull Durham. So is her high IQ, by the way, because with her politics involved. Anyway, I can't resist attacking Susan Sarandon on politics. But the truth of the matter is, Gina Davis was hot. She's still hot. And to see her, and except for her role in Tootsie, where she had a small role in Tootsie, there was a film debut. There's the only time you actually see in a movie where Gina Davis shows off her body. And she does have a great body. She does. And to see her in a bikini, you're like, damn. And that's how it was. What I mean by, at the beginning, I should mention, at the beginning of this review, I mentioned the fact that this movie pretty much ended the chick flick genre. And the reason why it ended the chick flick genre is because of the fact that they made all the men look stupid in this movie. Like stereotypical women-hating guys. I mean, which is true. I mean, all the guys in this movie, even Brad Pitt's character, are stereotypical women-hating, raping women guys. That's what they are. They're rapists. And they made either a rapist, like the guy in the bar who attacks Thelma in the movie, as I previously mentioned. Guys who rip women off, which Brad Pitt does in this film. Either were women haters, like Thelma's husband in this film happens to be, or someone like Michael Madsen who also doesn't treat the women right. So every guy in this film, no matter who it is, they all treat women lousy in this film. The only one that didn't treat women lousy in this film was the Harvey Keitel character. That's it. He's the only one in this movie who doesn't treat women lousy in this film. Every guy in this film treats women lousy. And of course, by that, is of course, people hated this movie because of that. And said, hey, I mean, in these other chick flicks that happened, in the 80s, all the other films that I mentioned, from Beaches, Dear Magnolias, Terms of Endearment and stuff, at least those movies that make the men smart, or just as smart as the women characters are. In Thelma and Louise, all the men were stupid. Like I mentioned, they're either rapists, women haters, or just treat their significant others lousy. In Thelma and Louise. So that's why people would get tired of these women shots. And when this movie came out, even though the movie got rave reviews for from Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis' performance, which, like I said, that they were great performances by the two women. Other than that, all the men were horrible in this movie. Like awful, stupid. Because don't forget, the screenplay was written by a woman, folks. Okay, so it goes to show you that the woman was a man. The woman who wrote the screenplay, and she actually won an Oscar for best original screenplay for this movie. I am not kidding. She won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for Thelma and Louise, and because she wrote all the men as stereotypical women haters in this film, and the women were great or smart or whatever, and all the men are assholes in this movie, pretty much, and because of this movie, ended the chick flick genre because of that, because the way it stereotypical treated the men in this film. And so, because of that, it ended the chick flick genre, but started the women empowerment genre. Because a lot of movies came out after, especially Lifetime, made a fortune on these movies. Excuse me, with all the women, pro-women, anti-men TV movies came out after this film, and that's pretty much the impact of Thelma and Louise because of that. So that's my review of the movie Thelma and Louise. Please click on the video, please rate it, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com. That's all WDY, and that's c.com. That's the homepage of the Rally Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.